Hello, world.
Yeah.
Here we are. We're back on our second episode.
April 2nd.
April 2nd, second episode.
Yes.
And we are two of us. So two, right? Two is about partnership.
Yeah.
How is everyone?
How's everyone out there? How are you? The world, how are you?
How are you?
What have you done in the 1 week that we have not been with you? What mischiefs? What have you gotten into? There is quite a bit of troublemakers out there, right?
I love this. And what have we been up to? But before, you know what we do before we continue? That.
And we
that
just
will
connect
be...
to who we are, yes.
So closing the eyes, both hands on our hearts, and breathing in and out, connecting with our beautiful heart. Breath, calm breath in and calm breath out. Such a beautiful and magical opportunity to connect with our hearts. And what is present for you right now, Irma?
What's present is how rarely I take these few seconds to just do that, breathe in silence. What about
and what
you?
I'm present to is how rich and full this moment is. These few moments, few seconds of connecting with my heart. And I get emotional, joyful, and everything in just one moment, you know. Like there is nothing missing. Like this is it. Like this is it.
That is true.
So that's it. You know, as simple as that, opening the eyes. It doesn't have to be significant, and it's just short, sweet and short. But may we remember to do this in the moments when we need the most, to just connect with our hearts.
Thank you for doing that, by the way.
You're most welcome. You're beautiful, Irma. You look so beautiful.
And your eyes are just, I tell you, since you started this hair, just letting your hair, your eyes are just so much bigger and they show up. Like I can see you.
All right. So, Irma, I had another theme for our second episode. But then, as we were preparing for this podcast, I had this idea. What if we talked about the ugly truth of the emotions that we mostly experience in our lives? You know, like what I want to say is we are all loyal to certain emotions. And what I mean by loyal, I mean we develop some kind of addiction to experience some emotions more than others. And we kind of look for situations, for relationships, for those emotions, to have those emotions. I don't know if
Yes, I hear what you're saying, and I agree, and I think it's important to clarify that we don't consciously look for those.
Exactly. Of course, we are not doing it consciously.
Right? And we're not even, I think the moment we're aware of those emotions and feelings and the impact they have on our lives, we tend to be more careful or choosy in whether we want to engage with them or not. And most of the time, we might just not be aware of them. So we just, create subconsciously, somehow we just create situations where we constantly get. And from my experience, it might be a theme of life, but it is also, I think, phases. like specific emotion in this phase of my life, and then specific another emotion. It might not be just one emotion throughout my life. But, because I think we transform every day and we change while repeating the patterns and emotions and thoughts throughout our lifetime. We still are these transforming beings. So what do you want to talk about that? What's there for you? Do you want to talk about the impact? Or do you want just to discover what are those for you?
I think Joe Dispenza is talking very clearly about the addiction of certain emotions. And we can say that, yeah, we transform every day and we experience different emotions. It's true. But there are dominant emotions that we are constantly returning to. So for me personally, one of the emotion, more of like a state, but you can also call it emotion that I'm returning to, is insatisfaction. I'm constantly insatisfied with how things are, how the present moment is. It needs always to change something. I'm looking for adding or extracting something from the moment so I feel satisfied. So it's like I can never be content with what it is in the moment, and there is some kind of insatisfaction. That is very, I would say, dominant in my life, and that is the ugly truth of that.
I have to look for myself. So you're saying you spend your lifetime chasing after the feeling of satisfaction?
No, chasing for the feeling of insatisfaction, being unsatisfied.
Well, you're not chasing it since you're experiencing it. It's always there.
In fact, unconsciously, I'm chasing it. That's why I'm creating it. That's why I'm looking for situations that will bring me that insatisfaction. And that's the ugly truth of that. It's all happening unconsciously. Of course, I don't want to be satisfied consciously. But baby, there is a deeper layer of us that decides what we do in the world and how we feel. It's not the conscious mind that creates everything, it's the unconscious.
Well, so you have the awareness of that, which means that you have a view and possibility to choose not to be in it.
That is correct. But it's not as easy as it sounds.
Sure.
Because as addiction is that, it's like saying to a person that smokes, don't smoke. Are you aware that you're smoking? Yes. Don't smoke anymore. It's not enough. Yes, the awareness is important. It's a first step, I would say. But still, it is a practice of seeing it, accepting it without rejecting, without fighting with it, and choosing something else. Yeah.
As I was looking, what is the thing for my life, what came with that, and thinking about Dispenza and what he's preaching, which I absolutely adore, and it has really helped me a lot. The moment I can recall this moment, and it lasted for a long time, and you're aware of it, when my boyfriend cheated, and there was this addiction that I had to the thought of him and her. So I was constantly, out of the fear that he would do it again, or whatever it was, I was constantly living in that thought that they were doing things behind my back, that he was cheating, which in fact he was. But that's not even what hurts you is what's in your head, right? The stories that you make and how you make it about yourself. And so when, and it lasted for the longest time. I would wake up with it, go to sleep with it. It was just like constant cortisol shot. I lived in the bathtub of cortisol. And that's when I discovered Dispenza. And in fact, I watched his documentary series that was Rewired. And so, realizing and getting awareness of how the thoughts and how much we get addicted to thoughts, and then how does it break down? The thought goes into the body and the hormonal levels, all of that. And he was like, you have to break that consciously you have to break the thought. It's whether it's meditation, you start meditating in that moment, you do something to just, because you get addicted to your thought and the feeling in a specific moment of the day. Your body has a clock for those feelings almost. It's so strange, right? And I remember when I decided that I wanted to transform that, because I was doing it to myself. Nobody hurts you. Nobody does anything to you. You do it to yourself. You allow it to happen, right? I told myself, well, what is the physical thing that I can do to just stop the thought as soon as I catch it? And what it was is read a page of a book. So I spent about a month or two, having a book everywhere with me. And just every time I would be aware of it, whether it was in the restaurant, it was the weirdest thing. You're with people and you're like, wait a second, let me read the book. But you're right. There is that thing of breaking the pattern, consciously breaking the pattern. And the other side of it is it takes time for your body to get used to it. And together with that, you have to learn to let it go, accept it and let it go. So it's almost like coming into those things at once, not just one way, but from different avenues, right?
Question for you, Irma. How did it make you feel, those thoughts about your accent?
Oh, that part that I talked about in our first podcast, that I'm not good enough, it just made me right. It was the proof that I'm not good enough.
And what was the emotion?
Oh, emotion was devastating. I was broken. I couldn't recognize myself. I was not me that I knew myself to be, right?
Were you angry? Were you frustrated? Were you sad? Were you suffering? What was that? What was the experience?
There was a lot of suffering. There was anger but not anger just constantly, anger that would show up out of nowhere. Oh, like, the lion that gets really ready to eat the prey. Most of the time it was just devastating, broken down. And I think the biggest thing is I saw myself as broken. And there was a lot of judgment towards myself that I allowed that. Yeah. But looking back, pure addiction to the thought pattern. And I actually had to really just break it. Just as, you go to meetings. Well, I didn't go to meetings, but I did take specific steps to break the pattern. And it's the same with the ongoing feeling, what you just discovered. For me, if I was to choose something, is when I'm not good enough, I get overwhelmed. I get quickly overwhelmed by life. I create the chaos, momentary chaos. I fill up my plate, my calendar, my thing and then it's too much. And then, now we have the tools to distinguish. It doesn't mean that it's always going to come back. And most of the time I get to see it. And sometimes I do choose to stay in it. It's so good to stay in it, It's like, it feels bad, but it feels good at the same time. But then a lot of the times I look at it and I'm like, does that serve me? Does it serve what I'm up to? And then really looking at the impact of that stress on my body. And I'm like, not worth it.
Irma, I think the ugly aspect of our conversation that I want us to maybe go deeper into that is that we are addicted to suffering, and we are addicted to feeling unsatisfied or feeling not enough, and it's something that is not acceptable in our society, in our conversations. You don't go to your friend and say, you know what, I'm so addicted to being unsatisfied, I'm so addicted to suffer. They will say you're crazy. Truly.
Yeah.
But the ugly truth of that is we are addicted to those things. And it doesn't make us bad people, and maybe we are bad people sometimes. That's okay too, I'm sure you are the villain in someone's stories.
Oh, I am.
And me too. In many stories, in many people's stories.
Yes.
And that is okay too. Can we accept about ourselves that, yes, we are bad people in some stories?
Yeah. I think what you really pointed at something important here. It's that more than, I don't know, probably more than ever, our society is now so oriented into bettering yourself, making you better, making you more positive, making you this or that, and fix yourself with this coaching or that this program. There's so much tools. And, I don't know about you, but when I go on social media or internet, that's all I see. Maybe it's because of my choices, right? But I'm thinking, wow, it's as if the world is just here, a constant reminder again that you're broken. Something's wrong with you. You gotta fix it, And so if there's something that's wrong with you and you have to fix it, then of course you shouldn't accept it. You shouldn't even ponder. You shouldn't even stop and pause and think what's there. You should just go and fix it. And I think, and for myself, that's my ugly truth. While this journey has been amazing, and I would not exchange it for, I would do it in a heartbeat. I do get it now that I've been chasing after knowledge, experiences, and all of that, so that I can actually make myself better.
I remember the experience that I had. And that 1 week where I experienced 2 iboga ceremonies with the sacred plant. And in the first ceremony, it has been shown to me just how addicted I was to suffering. So we had a phase of, at some point, to let in a way my inner child, that essence of me, clean my inner system, like my inner body, I would say. And having this image of cleaning everything. And when it got to my heart, it said, are you ready to just delete or clean all the suffering that you gained in your heart? And I paused for a moment, because for me it was, what if I delete and I clean all the suffering? That means I will also clean all the memories and all the experience I had about the past and all the relationships. And I didn't want to let go of it. I had to pause for a few minutes, I don't know, a few minutes or a few hours. I was not connected really to our time as we understand it. But I became aware in that moment just how much I was addicted and attached to suffering. And then I said, I'm ready. And I was still crying, because it's real. It is real. Addiction you have for alcohol, for heroin, for smoking, is the same addiction for emotions. It feels the same in the body. So I have another question for both of us. If we choose one thing that we're addicted to right in this moment, talking about the states, our states, state of mind, emotional state, or emotions in general, what would it be? One word, right in this moment, in present. What are you addicted to, Irma?
Worry.
Worry, yeah. How does it manifest in your life? How did it manifest today, the worry?
It hasn't yet. Well, maybe it did, because it's like 7 a.m. here. So I haven't had time to worry. Well, yes, there is a worry. It manifested in, there's a long day ahead. Am I going to be able to accomplish everything because there's a lot at stake. A lot. It's heavy. So I got to rally. I got to make it count. Today's the day. Right? So how it manifests is, it kind of almost like a joy killer in itself,
Yes. Good luck with that, Irma. Worrying. I like that. Thank you. I truly love it. I love that, we can talk freely about those. Yes, I'm a warrior.
What about you? Worries. What's yours? You've had more of a day today. So how did that
Right in this moment, I'm addicted to frustration. Like just frustration. I'm getting frustrated from little things. Like, oh my God, it takes so much time to figure out with how to set up the laptop and Zoom, and it takes a long time to update the Zoom, and it takes a long time to prepare all those things for the podcast. And I'm getting frustrated, and I'm just seeing how addicted to frustration I am. I would just use anything around me to be frustrated. So there is a real addiction of that.
I wonder, I would love to ask whoever's watching, what's your addiction for today? Not even for life. Life might be overwhelming even just to look at, right? But take pause and take a look. And what is that overwhelming feeling that has you today? That just drives you. It's like the driver on the car, and behind the wheel. And it's automatic. You're not even pausing to acknowledge it. But yeah, what is it?
So please tell us in the comments, right?
Yeah.
And I guess that's all for today. That's
you go
it.
on, girl. You be frustrated and I'll be worried. Or we can choose to drop it and discover how that is.
All right. And if you drop it, you choose to drop it, there will be an empty space. And we humans know ourselves for not being good at keeping empty spaces.
Well, fill it up with shit.
No, fill it up. What is the choice? What do you want consciously to create for that empty space when the worry will go away? What do you want to put in that place, Irma?
When there is no worry, and I have this Wednesday that is in front of me, that I'm up to this amazing creation. I'm working on these projects that are so incredible. Then it's all creation. It's all inspiration. It's all being lifted by my own creativity and the universe that just feeds me from that. So
what you're going to put in that place and fill that place is being inspired, right?
Yeah.
And being creative.
Yep.
That's beautiful. And you know what I'm creating for my space is humor. Even if it's silly humor, doesn't matter. Humor. I'm going to laugh at myself. I like that. And maybe laugh at others too. It's totally fine. It'll be with my family. They know me. They accept me the way I am.
The weird you, right?
The weird me, true.
Yeah.
Inspiration, creativity, and humor and irony, yes. Let's do that. What are you going to fill that space if you choose to let go of your addiction to whatever emotions you're going to choose? What are you going to fill that place with?
It's a good one.
Share with us.
Let us know. Yeah. All right.
And we'll see you next week.
We will.
From our hearts to yours. Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone.